Previously on the Traveling Together Journal, Amy badly twisted her ankle, and I got hurt pretty badly while surfing too, which prompted us to leave the awesome waves we had found in El Salvador and skip the hikes we had planned for Honduras to get to northern Nicaragua, where we plan to meet back up with our traveling friends Warwick and Ivana for some fun and relaxation. We left our campsite at Las Piñitas Beach nice and early to head into the town of León, where we met up with our friends for a cheap breakfast buffet and spent the day checking out the colorful colonial town and looking in every auto parts store we came across for a door handle to replace the one that we broke in El Salvador.
Have you practiced your word? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for un mango del puerta de coche.
Okay.
Something like that.
Unsuccessful in that search, we decided to find a cheap hotel and ended up in this lovely green room with no windows. We were only going to be there for one night, so we chose not to set up our camp kitchen. Instead, we went out for some street food and a little nightlife in this hip colonial town that's been well established on the Nicaraguan backpacker route for many years. The next morning, we met back up with Ivana and Warwick, whom we've talked into joining us on a little overland adventure. I've found that one of my favorite things to do while traveling is to use trip planning apps like Overlander and online surf maps to find stretches of coast that don't have any marked pins in them yet. Then, use Google Earth satellite imagery to assess the areas for potential rideable surf and to find access beyond marked roads. Following one of these goofy schemes was our plan for the day, and we were glad to have some adventure buddies up to the challenge. But first, some authentic Nicaraguan breakfast.
Alright, some of these mystery foods. We've got a zucchini with some cheese stuff on it, and we've got, they call it an enchilada. It's got carne and arroz. We've got Gallo, Pinto, and Matt got an empanada with platano in it.
With all of our fried food groups consumed, it was time to stock up on provisions. But as is often the case, the narrow streets of this growing colonial town proved challenging to navigate.
We are trying to get to this grocery store, and there wasn't any parking that we could see, so we just went around the block. We have this truck that's over here, this big black truck with all this steel on it, trying to park in this tiny street, and there's a huge line of cars already formed behind us. So I'm just gonna walk to the store to meet our friends because I think they're gonna have to unload this entire truck before anybody's going to be able to drive down this road. Oh, I don't know, maybe they are getting it wide enough for people to drive. Maybe I should wait. If you're good on your side, just keep coming. You can go over just a little bit this way if you want. Is that fun or what? There it is. We should just park next to these horses. So we finally parked and made it to that Poly grocery store. It was just as much, if not more intense than the streets were.
With the stressful part of the adventure out of the way, we were finally ready to go get lost on some unmarked dirt tracks in remote Nicaragua.
So we've been driving down this dirt track through all these salt flats, and our goal is to get to this little point here. But at the moment, we've got to potentially go through somebody's property. So the boys just went making sure the route is clear because the sand is really soft right there. How's it look?
Soft sands, a little bit uphill. Get going here. So as long as we are able to make this turn without getting stuck, that will be dude that owns the house right there, or is living there. He said it was cool if we drove through his, what I'm assuming is his property.
We got some thick trees in our way, and Matt's getting a saw, and we're gonna get this stuff out of the way.
Ow, is everything f***ing spiky here? Fucking cactus.
We arrived wherever we arrived, and our buddies are gonna stay with us, and we're gonna set up for some wild camping in this really hot, thorny desert.
We enjoyed a couple of relaxing days at our little beach camp and even got a few waves, but they broke it on Sandbar about a quarter mile out, so if you want to see them, you'll have to come find them for yourself. After 2 days without seeing another soul, it was a bit startling to come back from fishing to find our camp surrounded with armed men. It turns out that they're Nicaraguan Navy on patrol for drug traffickers. They checked our passports and warned us that they had caught traffickers here before. Then they left us to contemplate our next move. It was late in the day, so we decided to stay for one more night.
Good morning! Well, it's time for us to move on from this wild camping spot. We actually just got blasted with sand all day yesterday, so we've decided to skedads. Yesterday I went to do a time lapse of the sunset and had our new camera on a tripod, and a big gust out of nowhere came by and just blew the whole thing over right onto the camera lens and jammed the camera lens. And Matt and I have to go into Managua and find a DHL so that we can send our brand new camera that broke back to Canon, and we are looking for a door handle. So we're gonna see if we can't find, there's a Toyota dealership and I guess there's a Toyota mechanic, so we're gonna check that out. And currently Matt is looking for sticks and rocks and anything that we can put under the tires to help make getting out of here a little bit more smooth than our entry. Woohoo! Well, leaving's a little easier since the guys already sawed all the branches down. I guess this is maybe where we say goodbye.
Hasta luego.
We're on our way to the DHL, but then we saw this Toyota dealership, so we just decided to pull in and see if we can't score this door handle. The guy here at the Toyota Center just said that they don't have the part, they can't order the part, but he sent us to a place called Casa Pelas and kind of gave us some directions. Although directions are challenging, they don't translate the same way that they do back home. When somebody writes out directions, a lot of times it'll be like 3 doors from the yellow house, things like that, and that will be its actual address. So hopefully we can find this Casa Pelas place. He's using Google Translate to help us understand. We went to DHL. They said that we were gonna have to pay a 45% tax once the package, the broken camera, got to Panama. And then we would have to pay another 45% tax once it returned here to Nicaragua. That in Latin America, they charge a 45% tax on the value of the product, whether it's broken, used, or not. So they would have actually looked up the value of the Canon camera in a catalog to determine how much we were going to owe them. So if we pay 45% tax on it 2 different times, we might as well buy a new camera. I looked up all of Nicaragua, some forums, and there are no good camera stores in Nicaragua. So everyone's best suggestion was to head to this mall. There's a few different department stores. We're not that optimistic since all of our department store hunting in Mexico when we first bought this camera didn't prove very successful, but we're gonna give it a go. As far as the Toyota part, that was really unsuccessful too. They've never sold a T100 in Latin America. It's just an American model, I guess. So that again, we're just gonna have to find the door handle online and have it sent to our friend who is coming to visit us in like a little over a month.
Next time on the Traveling Together Journal, we meet back up with Warwick and Ivana to see the sights around central Nicaragua and to look down into the hot, gooey center of our planet. This bag of trash is for you, Matthew McClendon. If you want to support the creation of this content, get a bag of trash picked up in your honor, and be super awesome like Matthew, then click the truck to find out how.